A very warm welcome to StudyIQ, my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you're all doing good. Today is 17th November 2020. Let's start our discussion with a positive quote by Winston Churchill. To improve is to change. To be perfect is to change often. So if you want to improve yourself, you have to make some necessary changes with your thinking, with your behavior, with your awareness. But if you want to keep on improving yourself, if you want to touch perfection, or if you want to get closer to perfection, right? And perfection is not a destiny, it's like a journey. So if you want to walk on a journey of perfection, then you have to change yourself quite often, right? You have to keep on breaching that comfort zone boundaries. With this, dear friends, Big Diwali sale is on, but today is the last date, 17th November 2020. Flat 50% discount on all our smart courses, plus 10% off when you use this Diwali 10 code. So make the most out of it. You have less than 12 hours to go. And this is never going to be this bigger. Right, so make the most out of it. All information pertaining to our smart course, pertaining to Big Diwali sale is available on our mobile application. To download the PDF of today's lecture, check out my Telegram channel. Please make sure that you hit the like button. Make sure you share this lecture with other students, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Now, dear friends, many of you are wondering why this lecture is coming this late. Of course, the only reason is celebrations are going on. It's a big week because Diwali, and after that, yesterday was Gujarati New Year, and today is Bhai Dooj. So, things are a bit busy as far as personal life is concerned. And I thought I should not keep a day off as far as this lecture is concerned. So the best thing that I can do is to deliver it a bit late rather than not delivering it at all. So that's what I did. So this is, explanation from my side. But yes, tomorrow things are going to be back to normal. So Hindi version will be delivered around 9:30 in the morning, and English version will be delivered around 10:30 a.m. in the morning, just like we used to do, right? So yeah, this is just a small update. Now, on our table, we have four important articles. The first one is about this firecracker thing. Second one is a Ladakh proposal. It's about China. Why China is getting softer. And the third is the right lessons from Pulwama and Balakot. And the last one is also interesting. It's about upgrading our departments. Why we need to upgrade our departments. What are the changes that we need to do as far as policy framework is concerned? So the first one, civil disobedience. This I got from this newspaper called The Pioneer. This newspaper is not important. The most important thing is the article that you find in it. Whether it is important for your syllabus or not, that's the most important decision that you have to make. And one thing again I would like to tell you is that every day you find so many articles. It's not practically possible for you to go through all of them. It's not practically possible for me either to go through all of them. So the best thing that we can do is we can select the best and the most important article, analyze it, go through it, and that's it, move on. You have to leave something every single day. You cannot practically achieve or go through all the articles. There are so many newspapers published in our country. So if you are living in that imaginary world that the more you read, the better it is for you, then I would say that this is coming from school and college, where reading more was helping us. Here you are competing with so many people around our country, right? You are preparing for a competitive exam. So here quality plays a very important role, right? Quantity, if you personally ask me, then I would say, yes, I'm not saying that you just read one article and that's it. No, we have to push our boundaries, of course, but there should be a fine balance between quality and quantity. Just quantity is not going to help you. Okay, enough. Now, many denizens means people of Delhi, they ignored firecracker ban and they went ahead with this bursting firecrackers. And I just don't blame people of Delhi here, right? It's not just that denizens have breached this ban and other people in various different cities and towns and villages, they have followed it 100%. No. It's very sad that we find this thing throughout our nation, that many people in our cities, many people in our town, many people in our village, they were aware about this firecracker ban, but they have just ignored it, and they believe that this is how you celebrate Diwali, right? By bursting firecrackers. Many people they dub these people as suicide bombers. Now, if you're living in Delhi and if you are already suffering from, or if you know someone who is suffering from lung disease because of air pollution, and if you burst firecrackers and all of a sudden the air pollution is going to go up, and yes, of course, this is going to kill this person who is suffering from lung disease. This is going to make life of the family members of this particular individual very bad. It's going to spoil their Diwali. It's going to spoil this festive season for them, isn't it? And not everyone can afford air purifier. We have to keep this thing in mind as well. And this is like this air pollution, water pollution. These things are they are not discriminatory. They will. Air pollution, climate change is going to affect all of us. Yes, it is going to affect poor people. They are going to be the most vulnerable, most affected. But it's not going to leave those who fall into this middle class bracket, those who fall into rich class bracket. Everyone is directly, indirectly going to get hurt of this thing. Now, some dub them heroes for defying the ban. Then this is something, this is a subject of psychology, but I will give you an example. People like to watch tigers and lions and leopards, and people like to watch eagles. People, associate themselves with these animals. People like Gabbar Singh. They like all those villains that we see in movie. We love those characters. We love Ravan. We adore Ravan, right? Though we worship Lord Ram, there are people, they adore Ravan. They talk about good qualities of Ravan and things. So why? The question is why? We know that Ravan was not good, or as far as Ramayana is concerned, right? It was a devil. But then as well, people love or adore Ravan is because this is something to do with psychology, right? I have a brief understanding about it. I'm not sure about the name of this theory, but people love to be, people love to have access to what we say, limitlessness, right? We love limitlessness. We adore limitlessness. So in our day-to-day life, I'm talking about Indians, right? I'm talking about India. We love to do things that will, of course, you cannot have limitless power. Imaginary limitlessness, yes, you will love it. But in your day-to-day life, like not wearing a helmet. Now, you know that wearing helmet is important. It's a law as well. And if you get caught, then you will have to pay a fine. And if you have someone working in police, then, how it works is that you say that my brother or my father is working here and there, and they will let you go. So this is considered as heroism. So, we consider this thing as limitlessness. So, in short, what I'm trying to tell you is that civil disobedience is a way of life for most of us in our country. And it is not just in India. We find this thing in our neighboring nations as well. So sociologists should come up with theories as to why this almost brazen attitude towards the law is so prevalent in India and other nations in the neighborhood. On your screen, you have three names, three chemicals. Very important, GK type information. But they can ask you this question in your prelims examination. So these are the three harmful chemicals or gases that you find. Once you burst a cracker, it will release nitrogen oxides, sulfur, and potassium. Keep these three names, right? If you want to by heart it. I don't care. But these three names are important for you. They can ask you this question easily. Okay, now the most important thing why we are discussing this, the name of this article itself is civil disobedience, is because we have to understand this thing that the civil disobedience is a way of life in our country, and we have to do things through which we can nudge our citizens. We can make our citizens realize that It is important to follow law and order. It is cool to follow law and order. It is cool to pay your tax. Many people, when they don't pay their right tax, they say that, and they are considered smart. When people don't wear seat belts, and if they can, go scot-free, then they are considered, wow, they are heroes, right? They have good connections. They can do this and that. But this is not right for society, right? Law and order is very important. Every one of us, we have to stick with rules and regulations. And for that, we have to have strong and good implementing agencies like police or any other agency. So for that, we need to initiate judicial as well as police reforms. Without that, we are not going to see any sort of change, right? So that's the thing. And this applies to so many other things as well. It applies to our the situation of this rapes going on in our country. We have laws and everything, but there's culprits somewhere down the line. They know that they are nothing is going to happen to them. It's going to take ages, so they don't fear. If you know that if you do something wrong today and tomorrow you'll be behind the bars, then that will be very difficult. That will create a sort of deterrence, that people will not indulge in this. Criminals, they will not do, or people with this sort of mentality, they will not do things that will harm other. So yes, I hope you got the message here. Now I have one question for you. I want you guys to think about it. What is more important when it comes to tradition versus common sense, right? What is more important? Think about it. Think about some examples where you have a clash between tradition and common sense, and what you would choose. Right, this is something that I want to know from you guys. So think about it, and once you're ready, stick your answer in the comment section. Now, the second one is Ladakh proposal. Now, it's very interesting to find that China has said that let's remove our tanks and armored vehicles and troops. Of course, both sides, India and China, should do this thing. That's what reports are indicating about this 6th November 2020 is 8th round of core commander level talks. So when it comes to this fingers 4 to 8 area in this Pangong Tso Lake area, reports emerged that two countries have finalized a set of proposals to withdraw tanks, armored vehicles and troops. Now this is very interesting, isn't it? That China is talking about this thing. That China is ready to withdraw its tanks, armored vehicles and troops. Why? First of all, let us go through this area that is on your screen. Thanks to Times of India for this outstanding infographic. Now, you can see here, this is F1, that is finger 1, finger 2, finger 3, finger 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? And we are talking about this part of the world, or this part of our country. This Aksai Chin, at present, it is under China's control, but it belongs to our country, as we all know. So we are talking about this region somewhere here, right? You find this Pangong Lake. So this is Pangong Lake. I'm sure you are following this laser point here. So this is Pangong Lake here. Now, point number 1, it is located at an altitude of 13,900 feet. 2/3 of the 134 kilometer long lake is controlled by China as it extends from Tibet to India. So, okay, 2/3 is under China's control. Now, India physically controls till finger 4, has a post between finger 3 and 4. As you can see here, this is the post. And for decades, we have been patrolling west to east till finger 8. So we consider this point, this line here, this red line is, for India, this is LAC, that is line of actual control. China believes that this is LAC. China says that this yellow line here, that is nearby this finger 2, it claims that this is China's territory is up till here, right? Now, since May 2020, PLA has blocked this whole lot here, roughly this region. So this whole region, you can say. Okay. So what they have done is they have blocked this region. We used to do patrolling till here, so they are here somewhere. But now they are saying that let's remove our tanks and everything. So why? So there are two reasons behind it. The first one is something to do with geopolitics or diplomacy. Victory of Joe Biden and other countries, US allies like Japan, Australia, Canada, UK, so many other countries, they have agreed that directly, indirectly, they are with USA, and they are ready to support Joe Biden's administration to isolate China. So this has generated fear of diplomatic isolation in China. So this is one reason why China is a bit afraid, and now China wants to make a U-turn. Point number 2. As I told you, China has captured few important places. So China has captured few things here, right? We find their bunkers, and we find their fortifications and other things between this region. But what Indian soldiers did, what we did, we have captured some strategic heights. So of course, when our soldiers are here and when Chinese soldiers are here, then of course we have advantage, right? We can throw a stone and it will hurt them really bad. So that's what has happened here. Now China has realized there is no point of controlling this region because they have a strategic height. Indian soldiers, they are on a strategic height. So there is no benefit of controlling this region. And we find that China is also behaving very softly. China has said that let's sort out this. China has said this thing to ASEAN states that let us sort out, or let us take a flexible and pragmatic approach when it comes to South China Sea issue. Since 2013, this is the first time that we find something like this coming from China when it comes to South China Sea. China's rhetoric towards Taiwan has softened as well, and it is of course because of USA. So far, these are the reasons. Now, let us move on and let us discuss some lessons that we as a country should learn from this whole standoff. First thing is that we need to stand firm against China's dictates, because point number 2 says that China respects only that or those nations who are powerful or who is powerful, right? So China respects strength, and of course we are a mighty country, of course, so we need to display it. They should feel this thing, that you cannot mess around with India. We need to have some bargaining chips as well. Bargaining chips means this example that I gave you, that if you try to create some trouble, then our soldiers will occupy some heights, and then we will create more troubles for you. Cooperation with USA is going to be important. That will, for USA, when USA will have these allies together, it's like a big, it's like a big army. And alone India is going to be difficult, but when you have support of USA, then that will, that will shake the confidence of China. So cooperation with USA is critical, and we have to wait for strategic opportunity. Right, we have to see good results in our favor. We have to have some patience as well. Now, dear friends, what we need to do is we need to tell China clearly that things will be back to normal only if pre-April position in all sectors is achieved. Ensure reliable verification. We need to have 24/7, 365 days vigilant, or we need to have an eye on China. We need to monitor China's behavior. And if they do anything, if we feel like they are misbehaving, then we need to, of course, have some bargaining chips in our hands. One thing that we need to keep ourselves ready from today, that China has said a few weeks ago that it is going to upgrade its, military. It's going to modernize its military. It's going to be on par with US armed forces by 2027. So artificial intelligence, hypersonic missiles, and space warfare, 6th generation fighter jets and stealth aircraft, and so many things. So see, China and India, we are neighbors, and we are going to be with each other. We are going to here. No one is going to leave Asia. So to survive, and to survive peacefully, India needs to grow economically, and simultaneously we need to modernize our defense as well, right? This thing should go simultaneously, and it should be as speedily as possible, because today we have advantage of human capital, but in future China will have advantage of technology. Moving on to next item, the right lessons from Pulwama and Balakot. Now, few weeks ago, Pakistan's former Speaker and opposition MP Sardar Ayaz Sadiq alleged in the Pakistan National Assembly last month that the PTI government, that is Imran Khan government, fearing an imminent missile strike from India, had capitulated and released the captured Indian fighter pilot Wing Commander Abhinandan Vartman. See, on 14th February 2019, unfortunately, this terror attack took place, and we know that we lost some 40 CAPF personnel. That's a very sad incident in the history of our country. Now, on 28th February, we conducted, or 27th February, we conducted some airstrikes in this Balakot region. We destroyed their terrorist launch pad. And on 28th February, Pakistan Prime Minister, I'm talking about 2019, right? 28th February 2019. Those of you who are new, so let me tell you, we are talking about 2019. So, Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan said that we are going to release this Indian fighter pilot because, we are sending him back home as a peace gesture. And at that point of time, this election thing was going on in our country. And, political, it means so many parties, they talked about it, and it was more politics, right? Of course, we have military operations and they are serious. Indian Army, Navy, Air Force will not conduct surgical strikes based on your political elections, right? For them, it is their operational requirement that will decide whether they need to conduct operational, they need to conduct this military operation, yes or no. It all depends on their grassroots level working, what they find is good for them or not, and it's not about politics, at least in our country. But unfortunately, we find few things with this Balakot strike, and with this Balakot as well as this Pulwama strike and surgical strike. Political parties, of course, the ruling party will use it as a sort of, it will display it as a strength. But we have to understand this thing, that we need to keep this politics, at least Army, Navy, Air Force, our defense forces should stay away from politics. IAF, that is Indian Air Force, shot down its own helicopter in friendly fire close to Srinagar at that point of time. But this thing was not discussed that much because people were busy with these political statements and things. And we need to have more information about this intelligence failure. Why we were not having intelligence about this Pulwama attack. Why security forces, they violated standard operating procedure. And the possible involvement of this disgraced Jammu and Kashmir police officer Devinder Singh, why his name was given by Afzal Guru as well, why he was in the police force, why a thorough investigation was not conducted, was anyone following that person, has anyone kept an eye on this person, whether he's a clean guy or not. If Afzal Guru is naming someone, right, if he is saying that, he said that this guy was the main guy who supported, it was like he was like a broker, that if you give him money, then he will transport your terrorist from this place to another place. So if he is really doing this thing, then for this many years, why he was not under security net? And if he was under security net, then why no action was taken, or why he was not stopped? So we need to have data and information about this sort of things, right? What we did after this helicopter, this this IF shot down its own helicopter. Have we learned any lessons from this thing or not? This reminds us of this incident. Army Chief General VP Malik, I have a book written by him. The name of the book is Kargil. In future, when I'll go through it, it's still pending. I haven't gone through it yet. But I promise when I will go through it, I will share with you guys some important things about this Kargil war. Right, some interesting facts and some motivational things associated with Kargil war with you guys. Anyway, so 2 decades ago, the then Army Chief General VP Malik had launched a strong complaint with Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee during the Kargil war about the use of images of 3 service chiefs on the Bharatiya Janata Party's election posters. And when this whole thing took place, CDS said that, Bipin Rawat said that, now after this surgical strike 2016 and now after this Balakot strike, infiltration will become a history, but that is not a reality. Still, infiltration is going on, isn't it? They try their level best to send as many terrorists in our country as possible. So we need thorough investigation, and we have to keep this thing in mind as well, that both countries were on a brink of war, right? We could have easily entered uncharted territory. I'm talking about this Balakot airstrike and after that. We are lucky, and it's quite positive sign that this whole thing was de-escalated very quickly. But we have to keep this thing in mind, that any miscreant with a few kilo of explosive and an old car can bring these 2 nuclear weapon states to the brink of war. This is something that we should be worried about. Last topic is about needed as policy framework in step with technology. As we know that technology has evolved, right? Earlier on, products were just products, right? And marketing was, I think, the only service. Transportation and marketing were the only services. But still, a product was pure product. But today, right, information is the new currency. And today's products are, they are cutting edge, or the reason why they are more efficient and they add value is because they are not just a solid product. They are there is a mix of service, there is a mix of intangible thing in it. For example, a car. If you buy a car, then you know that 40% of its component these days are from electronic based platforms, or they are electronic based products in it. Your digital cluster and your air conditioning and your braking and your so many things, right? Your balancing, and there are so many terrain system and so many things. They are more electronic, they are more software based. Intangible things are driving your tangible things. And if we see modern electronic vehicles, then you won't believe, and I was also not believing this thing, but see here, that a modern electric vehicle has close to 100 million lines of codes, which is more than that used by a Boeing 787 or the Chrome browser. So digitization and electronification of industrial activities, products and services are influencing everything, and they are adding more efficiency and they are adding more value to the products. Now, why we are discussing this thing, we know this thing, but the most important thing is now we need to change the way the government used to design policy and the way we used to create departments. Earlier on, to boost economic development and to boost industrial development and growth, the government created various different departments and designed policies to govern that particular industry. So we used to have dedicated department for railway, dedicated department for your automobile industry, dedicated department for your agriculture and things. But now in today's world, we need to have a big room or a big building in which you have different departments working with. We cannot have just one department, right? Those days are gone when you used to work in silos. Silos means isolation, alone. Now you have to cooperate. So automobile industry. If you look at the automobile industry, policies are governed by heavy industries and surface transport ministries respectively. However, increasing electronification and digitization of the automobile are not covered by industrial policies that govern the Electronics and Information Technology Ministry. If you are following daily financial news notices, remember I told you one very interesting observation about Ravi Shankar Prasad. Our minister Ravi Shankar Prasad, he is IT minister, at the same time he is law minister. So he said that as an IT minister, he supports driverless cars. But as a law minister, this thing troubles him, that what will happen if the car has an accident and if someone dies? Who is going to be responsible? The car maker, the person who is the owner of the car, right? Or means, or this artificial intelligence means who is going to, who is going to be the most or the responsible party in an accident. So if we are, let's say, drones. So if you are using drones for your agriculture, for spraying or for getting rid of something, then you need to involve your agriculture ministry, your IT ministry, right? So we need to work in cooperation. So we need to design our policies in such a way that will create, synergies that will enable various different ministries to work together. And we cannot just, so far we have been supporting just hard infrastructure, but now we need to have softer infrastructure or soft area as well. Like if you are creating an industrial park, then we used to see just industrial park, but now we need to have education, skilling, technical institution, laboratories, testing centers at that particular industrial park. If we want to, of course, innovate, and if we want technological development, then we need to have mix of both the service as well as manufacturing world, meeting and working with each other. And that's how we are going to develop in today's world. And that's everything from my side. Thank you very much for watching this video. These are some news items. Of course, you can download the PDF and go through them as per your convenience and make the most out of this big Diwali sale. It's going to end today. And I will see you soon with daily financial news analysis. Till then, enjoy your studies. God bless you all. Jai Hind.